Seoul. The stage spotlights and the roaring cheers of thousands of fans instantly vanished the moment the doors to the VIP waiting room clicked shut. After hours of a packed schedule and performing on stage, Jimin and Jungkook sat exhausted on the sofa. They seemed to need a few minutes just to catch their breath and regain their strength. However, the quiet atmosphere shifted unexpectedly when a middle-aged man walked into the room carrying several neatly arranged food containers. The figure was Jimin's father, who had reportedly brought homemade food all the way from Busan as a simple surprise for his son and Jungkook. The father's presence caused Jimin, who initially looked utterly drained, to lift his head. A faint smile appeared on his face as he realized the food brought in wasn't just any ordinary meal, but comfort food that reminded him of home. According to the stories circulating in the narrative, his father had even willingly prepared the food since the early hours of the morning. Hours were spent carefully preparing various dishes with deep affection before bringing them to the venue where Jimin and Jungkook were carrying out their tour activities. When the food containers were opened, the aroma of warm, home-cooked food instantly filled the room. Amidst their grueling schedule, that homemade meal felt infinitely more precious than any luxurious delicacy. Jimin seemed to try and hold back his emotions. For an artist constantly moving from city to city, rehearsing, performing in front of tens of thousands of people, and enduring long journeys, simple care from family can feel deeply meaningful. His father then sat close to them, ensuring they both actually ate. There were no stages, cameras, or spotlights in that moment. All that remained was a warm atmosphere, like a family gathering at home. Jungkook also appeared deeply moved. His close relationship with Jimin's family made the gesture feel all the more personal. He accepted the food offered with great respect, smiling as the room began to fill with light conversation. The moment was later described as a bite of love from Busan. Not because the food was lavish, but because every dish carried a simple message. Someone back home was still thinking of them, even while they were far away from family. Amidst the hustle and bustle of the tour, such a small gesture served as a reminder that behind their status as global superstars, Jimin and Jungkook remain human beings who need rest, warm meals, and comfort from those closest to them. Jimin, who previously looked exhausted, gradually smiled again. A few bites of food seemed to shift his mood completely. Jungkook also enjoyed the meal while occasionally chatting with Jimin and his father. For fans, a story like this easily touches the heart because it reveals a familial side far removed from the glamour of the stage. In front of thousands of armies, Jimin and Jungkook are two massive stars. But in that small room, they were just two young men enjoying a home-cooked meal after an exhausting day. The father's care also illustrates that family support doesn't always come through grand words. Sometimes, affection manifests in the simplest things. Waking up earlier, cooking for hours, carefully packing the food, and showing up just to make sure the person they love is eaten. The moment felt all the more emotional because it happened right in the middle of a dense tour schedule. Traveling from one city to another leaves very little time for rest and family gatherings. Because of that, the lunchbox from Busan brought a piece of home into the high-pressure world of touring. The aroma of cooking, a father's care, and brief togetherness served as a reminder that no matter how far their journey takes them, home always holds a special place in their hearts. Yet, what makes this story most compelling isn't the food served or the length of time spent cooking. It is the quiet, unspoken affection given without expecting anything in return. Jimin might receive thousands of gifts from fans across the globe. Jungkook is equally accustomed to receiving overwhelming welcomes every time he steps on stage. But a meal made by a father's hands carries entirely different meaning. In the end, this bite of love from Busan isn't just about food. It is a story about family, exhaustion, and a form of deep affection arriving right when these two megastars needed comfort the most. Behind the sparkle of concerts and the chants of thousands of armies, there lies one simple sight that feels the warmest. Jimin sitting near his father, Jungkook enjoying the homemade food, and for a few brief moments, forgetting the frenzy of the tour. Still, if that moment truly happened as described, one question remains that makes the story even more intriguing. What specific dish did his father bring all the way from Busan that left Jimin and Jungkook so deeply moved? If that moment was indeed real and caught on camera, it's not hard to imagine how ARMY would react. Many fans would likely be touched seeing such a simple, familial side of Jimin. Usually, ARMY sees Jimin and Jungkook draped in stage costumes, standing under bright lights, or performing with boundless energy in front of tens of thousands. This time, however, a completely different picture emerges. Jimin and Jungkook weren't acting as two global icons striving to give their best performance. They were simply two exhausted individuals receiving warm comfort from someone who came bearing home-cooked food. On social media, fans' attention would likely focus not just on the food brought from Busan, but also on the tender way the father ensured Jimin and Jungkook ate after a long day. For many ARMYs, such simple affection feels far more touching than any spectacular stage performance. A wave of fans would likely highlight Jimin's expression upon seeing the food. A tired face slowly softening into a smile could easily become the most emotional part of any footage, especially if the camera caught Jimin stepping closer to his father to give him a grateful hug. Heartfelt comments would surely flood social media. Fans might write that Jimin didn't need expensive gifts after an exhausting day. To him, a home-cooked meal and the presence of his father were more than enough to bring peace to his heart. Yet, ARMY's attention would undoubtedly extend to Jungkook as well. When the father made sure Jungkook joined in to eat, the moment would feel profoundly heartwarming to fans. Jungkook, who usually exudes confidence on stage, was placed in a much simpler setting. He sat quietly, accepted the food, and showed an expression full of gratitude. Imagine if the camera caught Jungkook briefly bowing his head after receiving a bite of food. He might offer a small smile, looking over at Jimin and his father. No words would be needed to make the moment feel deeply emotional. Jungkook's reaction could easily become one of the most talked about moments among ARMY, not because of any grand gesture or dramatic event, but because of his visible appreciation for that quiet act of kindness. If Jungkook were to say that the food reminded him of home, that simple sentence would undoubtedly bring fans to tears. After long journeys and grueling tour schedules, the taste of home cooking serves as a gentle reminder that there is always a place to return to when everything becomes overwhelming. Jimin would likely smile seeing Jungkook enjoy the meal. There is a unique warmth in knowing that someone so close to you is treated like family by your own loved ones. To ARMY, this sight feels vastly different from Jimin and Jungkook's interactions on stage. No choreography, no visual effects, no spotlights, just a family. Eventually, the stage lights turned back on, and the roar of the audience echoed once more. From behind the curtain, the quiet atmosphere slowly shifted back into the hustle and bustle of preparation. Staff members began moving, the intro music echoed, and thousands of fans waited for Jimin and Jungkook to appear. But before all of that happened, they received something no stage, regardless of how grand, could ever offer: a taste of home. The food brought from Busan was more than just a meal to fill an empty stomach. If the story is true, every dish represented a father's deep care for his child enduring long, arduous days on tour. And one question still lingers. After cooking for 8 long hours, what special dish did Jimin's father actually prepare that left these two BTS stars so deeply emotional? That curiosity is perhaps the most captivating part of the story. Home cooking means something different to everyone. For Jimin, a specific aroma might instantly transport him back to his family kitchen in Busan. For Jungkook, the dish might bring back memories of home and the times before their lives were dominated by relentless tour schedules. If the lunchbox contained warm soup, slow-cooked meat, rice, and several traditional Korean side dishes, it is entirely believable that the preparation process took hours. Every item had to be prepared meticulously so that the flavor and texture would remain perfect upon arrival. Or perhaps, there was one specific dish that took center stage. Imagine the lid being lifted and Jimin instantly recognizing the aroma. His expression changes. He pauses for a few seconds before breaking into a smile. Perhaps it was a dish his family made often when he still lived at home. Sitting beside him, Jungkook watches Jimin's reaction. He might not immediately grasp why the meal holds such profound meaning, but seeing Jimin's expression is enough for him to understand that the dish carries its own story. This is where the emotional value of the food lies. The 8 hours spent in the kitchen were no longer just a number. It represented selecting ingredients, preparing seasonings, slow cooking, tasting, and carefully packing everything for the journey.